At our family cookout, the smoke stung my eyes as I watched my son's toys crackling in the fire. My brother stood there grinning, bragging. He needs to toughen up. Imagine seeing your son's most cherished toys melting and crackling in a fire, while your own brother grins and says, he needs to toughen up. Then, imagine that same brother forging your name on a fraudulent document, forcing you to choose between defending him or finally defending yourself. That's when the quiet one, me, Leo, decided to burn it all down. At 34, if you asked anyone in my family to describe me, they'd probably land on the quiet one. Not shy, not timid, just the one who doesn't feel the need to turn every family dinner into a theatrical production. Unlike the rest of them, I grew up in a loud house where whoever shouted loudest usually won. For a long time, I actually thought being calm was my superpower. That was until last weekend, when I learned that same calm could also make you an easy target. My parents, Robert and Martha, bless their hearts, love hosting these massive family barbecues. You know the type, 3 generations, barefoot kids screaming, and my mom convinced she needs to feed a small army. I usually go because my son, Finn, absolutely adores seeing his cousins. He's 5, curious, a little shy, and the kind of kid who carries his favorite action figures around like tiny, precious talismans. That morning, he'd packed them into his little backpack, proudly telling me they were going to watch him eat a hot dog. The moment we arrived, my older brother, Mark, was already holding court at the grill. Mark, the golden boy, always has been. Big personality, easy laugh, everyone's favorite growing up. If he broke something, it was a funny accident. If I broke it, I was careless. If he skipped school, he was testing boundaries. If I skipped, I was throwing my future away. You get the picture. Mark spotted us, grinned, and then his eyes flicked down to Finn. Hey little man, he boomed, crouching down. Did you bring those baby toys again? He pointed to Finn's backpack. Finn looked up at me, unsure if he was supposed to laugh. I put a reassuring hand on his shoulder, forcing a polite smile. Yeah, he brings them everywhere, I said. Mark straightened up, a loud chuckle rumbling in his chest. Got to toughen this kid up before kindergarten eats him alive. The aunts and uncles around him tittered like he just delivered a harmless joke. I managed a strained smile, but felt a familiar twist in my gut. The rest of the afternoon blurred into grilled burgers, clinking bottles, and the usual casual jabs disguised as family banter. Still stuck in that boring office job, Leo? When are you giving Finn a sibling? Remember when you were afraid of the lawnmower? I've trained myself to let most of it slide, but it was wearing me down. Then, just as the sun began to dip, casting long shadows, I heard it. Finn's cry. Not the tired, whiny kind, but the raw, panicked, heartbroken sound that makes every muscle in your body seize up. I sprinted towards the fire pit and froze. There, amidst the flickering flames, blackened and melting, were Finn's action figures, the very ones he'd been clutching all day. Finn stood there, hands outstretched, tears streaming down his face, as if his mind couldn't quite grasp the horror before him. And right next to him, grinning like this was all a big, hilarious joke, was Mark. Relax, Mark said, holding up his hands, like I was overreacting. Kids got to learn the world isn't always nice. Better he cries here than at school. Something in me snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't throw a punch. I just scooped Finn up, grabbed our bag, and walked straight to my car. Not a single word escaped my lips. Behind me, I heard my mom calling my name, my dad muttering something about me being too sensitive, and Mark's mocking laughter. I drove home in a suffocating silence, Finn's little body hiccuping.